Greetings, Dragon Ball fans, and welcome to part 4 of What If Goku Kept His Tail. In the last part, the evil Lord Frieza had arrived on Earth, seeking the still-present Dragon Balls. With his other team, the Ginyu Force, finding an empty void where Namek is supposed to be, they have diverted to Earth as well. The 5 Saiyans are currently putting their training to good use and are battling the tyrant together, having each been surpassed as Frieza's final form continues to power up. Nail has come to terms with the fact that not everyone is going to make it out of this in one piece, so he might as well throw all his chips in. While the other 5 Saiyans continue in their losing battle, Nail takes his new bestie, Piccolo, aside. The cackling tyrant, along with everyone else, is momentarily blinded by an almighty flash of light and energy. The Saiyans are also stunned to see a lone Piccolo step out of the glare, a new and improved Piccolo. Vegeta is not at all pleased by this, but, as is becoming the trend in this timeline, he keeps it to himself, for now at least. When Piccolo joins them in the air, all but Goku and Gohan drop back, thinking that he might want to first test his mettle alone. When the trio move in together, Raditz joins them, followed shortly by Nappa, and then finally, begrudgingly, Vegeta joins in as well. Things go well for a time, with Piccolo's power of around 4 million helping take some of the damage, but Frieza has his sights firmly set on the Prince. He's going to enjoy making him watch as he picks his team apart, corpse by bloodied corpse. He's got time to deal with the rest later, and he needs the Namek alive for questioning. Where'd that other one disappear off to, anyway? But this is all getting rather tedious. It's a shame Ginyu would be quite useless in this fight. Oh, maybe he can take over one of their bodies. Well, which one? Maybe the new one. Carrot, was it? He seems to be the strongest. Huh, poor Vegeta, outmatched by another Saiyan. How delightful. Ginyu could certainly make use of that body. On second thought, maybe not. Wouldn't want to waste such a loyal soldier to the temptation to surpass their emperor. It's in that stupid monkey blood, isn't it? Even the Green Man is beyond Frieza's most conservative form. No, they all need to die. With that decision made, it doesn't take him long to pick his first victim. Start at the top and work your way down. But damn it if that silly monkey doesn't take the bait. Did he just not see the opening? It was pretty blatant, even for a stupid monkey. Come on, Carrot, take the carrot. Frustrated at his inability to draw in his chosen victim, Frieza drops all pretense and flies straight at him, a death beam at the ready. Goku had, of course, seen the openings and wasn't being fooled by it at all. When Frieza charges in, hands all purple and glowing, he ducks away, just as the energy beam lances out. Unfortunately, it's faster than Goku could react, so the beam slices into his upper chest and out the opposite shoulder. He spins away in agony and plummets to the ground, alive, but barely. A little lower and that would have been his heart. 1 down, 3 to go. Who's next? Ah yes, Raditz, the runt of his former little troop of Saiyans. Before Frieza can get to the long-haired warrior, though, the smallest of them lets out a roar as he cries out for his daddy. Oh, how precious. That's his, Frieza doesn't finish the thought, though. Little Gohan is not so little anymore. Green-hued energy is swirling around him as his muscles ripple and expand. Some part of his mind recognizes all the other fighters are all backing away from the boy. Shock, but more importantly fear, clear on their faces. Akin to how he did in another timeline, Frieza feels the wrath of an enraged Saiyan hybrid. Once again, however, Gohan's young body simply cannot maintain the energy output of the rage-boosted Ikari, which had forced out its second, or wrathful stage. Maybe we could make that distinction, Ikari being the first stage, with simply the Ozaru multiplier, and wrathful being the second stage, with utter madness ensuing. With a final blow, Frieza is sent flying back, far away from everyone. Gohan's eyes roll back, and he starts to drop limply. Fortunately, Piccolo is there to catch him before he hits the ground. Taking the moment to collect themselves, Piccolo carries Gohan down towards where his father is laying on the ground. He arrives to see Dende, leaning over Goku's battered body, a very faint glow emanating from the pair. He asks Dende what he's doing, but Dende just shakes his head and grunts, obviously straining at something. Piccolo watches as the wound on, or rather in, Goku's chest slowly knits itself back together. He's healing him. But why would Dende have his potential unlocked when Namek never came under threat? Well, he didn't. He has, however, been spending a lot of time at Kami's lookout, communing with the elderly half of a man. While his potential hasn't actually been unlocked, he has been learning and exploring what little ability he already has. Under Kami's tutelage, Dende has managed to work out some of his abilities. As to why he's even here? Well, Nail kind of vanished, sorta. Something happened to his big brother that Dende didn't understand, so he came to investigate. When he saw the newly fused Piccolo, he knew that Nail was still there, after a fashion. Finally, Dende sits back, shaking with exertion. Goku then sits up abruptly and inspects his body. Damn, he knew he was absolutely wrecked, and now he feels great. Not even a Senzu could have done that so quickly. Dende smiles tiredly. Certainly not with a shattered esophagus, that's for sure. Speaking of Senzu, Dende pulls out a small pouch. He takes one out and moves cautiously over to Gohan. He pushes the bean into the unconscious boy's mouth, then manually crunches it between his teeth. The swallow reflex does its job, and moments later, Gohan's eyes flutter back to consciousness. They don't have time to celebrate their recoveries, however, as a very annoyed Frieza returns from his little jaunt into orbit. He is, as the saying goes, absolutely livid. He is also quite bloody and favoring the arm that Gohan had struck. Forgetting his immediate goal of torturing Vegeta, he makes a beeline for the boy and his father. Goku and Gohan, however, are basking in their recent Zenkai. Gohan is roughly twice as strong as before, while Goku, being as close to death as one can get without actually dying, has more than doubled. This does not go unnoticed by the other three Saiyans. They have, of course, been exploiting the Zenkais as much as possible during their training, but none had ever come close to this kind of effect. As the freshly healed Gohan and Goku once again don their Ikari forms, and with Piccolo's help, they again face off against Frieza. Vegeta debates with himself for a moment, then he grabs Raditz and drags him down towards the resting Dende. You healed them somehow, didn't you? He ignores the haggard, sweat-soaked face looking back up at him and lays out his plan. Raditz should not quite kill him. Then the small one can heal him, and he'll do the same to Raditz. Seeing the logic, Raditz raises his hand as Dende furiously shakes his head. It took everything he had to heal Goku. They'll need one of these instead, and he holds up 2 beans for them to take. One blank stare later, Dende tells them that they just need to eat them when they need healing, so just don't damage the digestive tract. Vegeta nods and is about to turn to Raditz when, without a word, he puts his hand clean through Vegeta's chest. Oh, that felt good. It's almost worth doing again. Vegeta collapses to his knees, gasping. His Senzu has dropped somewhere. Where is it? His worries are quenched when Raditz's hand reaches around and slaps over his mouth. A moment later, he feels a surge of energy flooding his body. Oh yes, this is incredible. He takes the time to power up, then pushes through to his Ikari state. For a moment, he is elated by the surge in power, but his mood is tempered as 2 realities hit him. Goddamn Kakarot is still stronger than he is. And Frieza? Frieza is even stronger than that. Seeing Vegeta's smile vanish as the realization dawns on him, Raditz holds out the other bean he'd picked up while Vegeta was busy reveling in his new power. Ready for round 2? Would he really? Would he so trustingly put Vegeta clearly on top, back in his rightful place? Is he really so gullible to think that Vegeta would respect this trust once Frieza is out of the picture? This low-class trash who time and again had surpassed him. Damn him. Damn his smug, righteous face. Vegeta cautiously takes the Senzu, and this time puts it in his mouth. He is about to release his Ikari form when Raditz ahs him. He powers up to Ikari as well, and, with an almost vicious smile, He steps in close and fires 2 shining Kamehamehas, a combination of Kakarot and Raditz's signature attacks. Now this is power. This power is surely the legend, the true Super Saiyan. And it's all Vegeta's. He powers up in base, again reveling in the feeling of it. Then, having reached his peak, he gleefully pulls on that Ozaru thread. Yes, he's finally done it. He is a Super Saiyan. He, Prince Vegeta, will put Frieza down once and for all. Frieza, of course, is probably going to have a hold my beer moment. But first, he has to come to terms with the fact that Vegeta, beyond all reason and logic, is somehow matching his meager 10% power. No one has ever pushed Frieza this far. Well, that's fine. It's all fine. He just won't get to torture the prince as much as he'd hoped to. Let's just get this over with and get on with the wishes, shall we? Come here, Prince. Goku, Gohan, and Piccolo join the utterly exhausted Nappa and settle to the ground next to a slightly creepily smiling Raditz. They watch as Frieza and Vegeta duke it out. The prince is loving his newfound power and doesn't seem to notice that Frieza's energy is still creeping up inch by inch. Goku asks Raditz what's so funny, and Raditz explains that Vegeta thinks he's some sort of Super Saiyan thing. A super what now? Oh, just some legend about a mighty Saiyan warrior, unmatched in all the universe, blah blah blah. The usual royal pomp and bluster. Raditz, for one, never put much stock in it. Their attention is drawn back to the sky, where Frieza has finally managed to grab a hold of Vegeta with his tail. He is slowly crushing the prince's throat, while laughing maniacally. Not so tough now, are you, my little prince? Goku launches himself back up towards the pair and strikes Vegeta in the back, causing him to drop the barely conscious Vegeta. If he could talk right now, he'd probably say something like, "Stay out of this, Kakarot, this is my fight." At least, that's what Vegeta's telling himself. As the others, including a freshly senzued Nappa, rejoin the fray. No, forget this, Frieza cries out. I'm sick of these monkeys and this miserable rock. He reaches up and forms a death ball. All but Vegeta gather and do a variety of hand cupping and energy summoning. As the death ball is launched groundward, they fire. 2 Kamehamehas, a break cannon, a double sundae, and a Masenko rise up to meet the descending ball. It stalls, slowly grinding to a halt, halfway between them. Try as they might, though, they just can't push it back. Frieza, on the other hand, has energy to spare. So quietly turns up the pressure, forcing the ball lower toward the defending rabble. This is when Vegeta makes his move. With Frieza distracted, he has moved around behind him. He fires his Gallic gun point blank into Frieza's back, sending the tyrant tumbling down into his own attack. Frieza, along with everyone else, bids a hasty retreat as the death ball detonates on contact. As the dust settles, Piccolo, Dende, and the 5 Saiyans collapse on the ground. They've done it. It's over, right? Come on, this has to be over. This is part 4 and we're still bashing around in what would have been the Namek saga? No, sorry, Frieza's not dead yet. Scratched, scorched, and bleeding? Sure. But a 15% powered death ball isn't going to be his undoing. The first warning is a single beam, passing through first Nappa, then Vegeta's chest, killing the former, but missing the vitals on everyone's favorite prince. The second warning comes as Raditz is lifted off the ground, struggling and clawing at his chest. "Goodbye, monkey," Frieza says coldly. "Your services are no longer required." Then he turns his attention to the boy. That's a wild card that needs to be dealt with. As the boy is lifted up as well, just like his uncle, Goku calls out to stop this. Frieza ain't gonna stop a thing. He's enjoying the terror and anguish he can see on the few remaining faces, especially the gasping Vegeta. Oh, what luck! He'll be alive to watch. Knowing that his son is also about to die, Goku is beyond words. He can't focus. There is only the rage boiling up inside him. Before he knows what he is doing, Goku finds his hands wrapped around Frieza's neck, both of them bathed in a strange golden aura. He squeezes with all his might, willing the impending kaboom not to happen. Suitably distracted by this, Frieza drops the struggling Gohan back to the ground. And what the hell is this? What's with the hair? It's so spiky, even for a monkey. And yellow. He tries to pry Goku's hands off, but can't get a grip. He needs more power. So, more power he extracts. Pushing up past 20%, he starts to feel his fingers pushing between Goku's and his now aching throat. Feeling Frieza's power pushing higher, Goku, having no idea that he's actually changed, but now in more control of his own actions, pulls on that oh-so-familiar thread. Willing the Ozaru form over himself, his eyes shift color. Yellow on yellow may be a bit unimaginative, but with the arrival of Ikari on top of a newly emerged Super Saiyan, like an actual Super Saiyan this time, Frieza is in no position to comment. Still squeezing the tyrant's throat, but now with a power somewhere above 260 million, Frieza's neck gives way in a fashion as spectacular as it is gruesome. So, being separated from his body, does Frieza's head remain conscious? I mean, in Super, he was revived as literal shish kebab, and was seemingly both alive and conscious. Or at least his eye was. Is he functionally immortal already? What's the smallest piece of him that can still be, him? Or do his parts communicate sort of telepathically? That's all quite disturbing, so maybe the power of the dragon gave his bit soul magical life. The Earth, meanwhile, is spared. Namek is safe and sound, and the surviving Frieza Force soldiers are bidding a hasty retreat, Ginyu in tow. So what lies in store for our heroes? Find out next time on Dragon Ball. What if Goku kept his tail?